Hello everyone! And today we are back into another top 5. And today it's the top 5 most fun Loomians in all of Loomian Legacy. And this list is going to be a very objective list because people see fun in Loomians in a different way. Either Loomians which are really enjoyable to use, or it could just be the best Loomians in the game. But, get that out of the way, let's head right into the top 5. But, before we do that, we are actually doing a massive giveaway. And if you watch my 500 subscribers video, I'm either going to give away a Gamma Dusket or a Gamma Ikazune. I decided that the winner of this giveaway will get to choose one of the two. So, y'all have the option. If y'all want to win this Gamma Dusket or Gamma Ikazune, if y'all say Gamma Dusket or Gamma Ikazune in the chat, I will give y'all a number. That number will be in a random generator, just like the other times, and whoever wins can pick Gamma Dusket or Gamma Ikazune. So that's how you can win these Gamma Realms. Let's get right into the top 5. So, number 5 onto the list is actually going to be Luxor. And I know Luxor isn't properly the best Loomian to use in the world, but it's extremely fun. I mean, Luxor just nukes people. With Illuminate and Raging Howl, this is one of the best nukes in the game because people don't really see it coming most of the time. People with like Valkyrie, people see Valkyrie as a nuke and are worried. Not with Luxor. People don't take Luxor seriously, so it's always hilarious when Luxor is able to nuke something on their team. It's mainly a Loomian that can knock out 1 or 2 big walls and then not do anything else. That's what makes Luxor fun. And it's very tricky to use because it can recoil itself. That's what makes Luxor very tricky. Other Loomians don't have that problem, but Luxor can KO itself, which just makes it a lot tougher to use, and in my opinion, a lot more fun when you nuke Loomians. A very fun challenge to use, with really high rewards. This thing can absolutely destroy any Loomian in its path. So yeah, Luxor being on this list makes a lot of sense. And plus, it's clutched up a ton of times in the past. This thing just knows how to absolutely clutch up any battle I have with it. So yeah, Luxor's number 5. Let's get right into number 4. So, yeah, Luxor is in pretty good spot. So number 4 onto this list is actually going to be Tyrex. And Tyrex is the only tank on this list. I find offense more fun than defense, but it doesn't mean that all tanks are not fun to use. Tyrex, in my opinion, is very, very fun to use because it's bulky on both sides, can set up, can hit very hard, can set up scapegoats, and I always just seem to have a lot of fun with Tyrex, mainly with team building. Tyrex is it's a Loomian that's so easy to team build with because of its stats. Very high stats, very good defensive typing, very good offensive typing too. It can hit a lot of different stuff, which makes it very fun. And also, it tanks enough. It's a very tanky Loomian that doesn't have recovery besides Health Amulet, but you will tend to get more health back because of how hard it hits. Also, because of its, ability. Terrifying. It can absolutely lower the melee attack of any Loomian, which is pretty amazing, honestly. I absolutely love Tyrex, and every time I have a chance to use it, I always have fun with it. And I like other tanks too. I like Tundralin because of Body Crash and Ventation, but I think Tyrex is the most fun out of all of them, just because, has a lot of weaknesses, so it's kind of tricky to use, but when used correctly, Tyrex can be played very, 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 very well. This thing is a force of nature. And plus, it's a freaking T-Rex, for crying out loud. It's a robot T-Rex. Who doesn't love Tyrex? Like, who doesn't? So number 3 onto this list is actually going to be Zephlin. And yes, another wall breaker. Another ranged wall breaker that has Turbulent instead of Illuminate, but has a lot higher ranged attack. But also has a move that does 30 less damage. But it doesn't recoil move. It doesn't recoil, has Mudslide to get rid of hazards, has Resonate that can give you a +1, and can also provoke other Loomians. I always have a lot of fun when I use Zephlin, and that's the thing. Zephlin is probably one of the most fun range attackers to use just because of Resonate. And when you get that +1 range attack, you just feel so good. You are going to sweep this guy's team. And also, the fact that it doesn't have any healing doesn't make it very cheesy to use, unlike other air types that have Perch. And the fact that it can set up Peace of Mind, provoke other Loomians, and Mudslide getting rid of hazards just makes this thing really scary. I mean, Zephlin is probably one of the scariest range attackers in the game right now, and very, very, very fun to use. It's very fun because of how hard it is. And it has a solid speed tier. It's not as good as Luxor's. I think Luxor has a little bit higher speed, but you can actually gain +1s from Resonate. Kind of like how Steel Crusher does for Tyrex. That is something I did not talk about in the Tyrex section, but there we go. Zephlin is number 3. It definitely deserves a spot in number 3 because this thing just always seems to impress me. Always impressed when I use Zephlin in battle. It's absolutely amazing. So, let's get into number 2. Because number 2 onto this list is actually going to be Munch Wheel. Now, I did not expect Munch Wheel to be on this list at all, honestly. But I used it a lot more. I used Steel Crusher Specialization Specialty Boot Set. It's amazing. It's amazing. And now looking back at Munch Wheel, I always had a lot of fun using it. The Rev Up version with Thunder Chomp. You can run the Rev Up version with Very Brawny. You can run the Specialization version. You can run the Specialty Boots Specialization version. You can run a Rageful Plushie version, which I actually got swept by. And Munch Wheel just always seems to be a very fun Loomian because it can be used in so many different ways. Has so much coverage. And you can't even really fit any of those coverage moves on a Munch Wheel. You can run Priority with Specialization. You could run Steel Crusher with Specialty Boots. You could run any of the Elemental Chomp moves. You could rely on Rev Up to gain your speed. There's a lot of different ways you can run this thing, and that's why I love Munch Wheel. Every time you see a Munch Wheel, there's gonna be something different about it. If it's running Thunder Chomp as the Rev Up one, if it's running the Elemental Chomps, it could drop Mega Chomp. It can use Quick Punch for Priority. This thing has so much to it. And you can also run different items. You can run Howl Family. You can run Steel. You can run the Metal Essence. You can run so many different items on this thing. And it just makes it so creative. And it's almost the most fun Loomian in the game. Although, I think we all know who my most fun Loomian is in all of Loomian Legacy. Just because of how unique the number 1 Loomian is. But Munch Wheel is still pretty fun as well, and I always love using it whenever I get the chance. So Munch Wheel being number 2, let's see who the number 1 slot is. So, number 1 onto this list, and the most fun Loomian in the game, is Boonery. And it's just because of how unique Boonery is. It has 64 stats across the board, but it's Two-Face. You can turn yourself into a copy of your opponent upon entering the battle. This is unique. You could even become the heavy bag if you really want to. That's why I love Boonery. You can become anything. And you can basically scout out your opponent. And that's what I love. It's kind of like Ditto from Pokemon. This is the most fun Loomian in the game because of just how unique it is. And you can't really set up with this thing, too, because you gain their stat increases, which just makes this thing really scary. And since they run Specialty Boots, you will normally outspeed that Loomian, which is just insane. You can become the Loomian. You can become the opposing Loomian, which is just amazing. I absolutely love Boonery for that. And even if you don't attack them, even if you have a bad matchup, you can see the exact moves your opponent has, which just gives you a massive advantage. Just seeing your opponent's moves just give you a massive advantage. And plus, I don't think I've talked about this one already, but if you have a Boonery versus a Boonery, it's always a very entertaining thing. It's just hilarious every time we have a Boonery versus Boonery matchup. It's funny, it's fun, it's unique, and that's why I love Boonery. That's why I think Boonery is the most fun Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy, and I don't even think it's close. I just love how unique it is. That's the big reason. I just love how unique Boonery is. And yeah, That's why Boonery is #1 in the most fun Loomians in all of Loomian Legacy. So here it is, Boonery. I even love the way, I even love his little flying animation. That's another thing I also love. But yeah, like I said, if you want to win the Gamma Dusket or Gamma Ikazune, just say Gamma Dusket or Gamma Ikazune in the comments, and I'll give you a number for your shot to win. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 5, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!